Welcome to Africa Speaks of today. My name is Steve Mulindwa, and I do hope that, as usual, you had a wonderful weekend. Now, what have I got in today's program? We're coming back to Nigeria again, because Nigeria is Africa's biggest economy, and we have something that happened which is completely unusual. Now, almost 2 weeks ago, governorship elections were held in Anambra state in Nigeria. They were unique in a sense that there was no violence associated with the previous elections in Nigeria. What is right in Anambra? What is different from other parts of Nigeria? After 61 years of independence, what went wrong in Nigeria? The country has seen it all. The military coups, a civil war, and now the ever-presence of Boko Haram in the north. Everything has happened and is still happening. What went wrong in a country usually referred to as the Green Belt of Africa? The All Progressive Grand Alliance, APAG, won the elections again. That's in Anambra State. Is there something the party is doing right? What is the way forward? That's what we're going to try and answer in today's program. We'll come back in a minute.
At WorldRemit, we understand what the journey is about, how it can sometimes take a little distance to bring us a little closer together. With ways to save more when you send more, WorldRemit is here for you, so you can be there for them. At WorldRemit, we understand what the journey is about, how it can sometimes take a little distance to bring us a little closer together. With ways to save more when you send more, WorldRemit is here for you, so you can be there for them.
Welcome back. As I said, the elections were held in Anambra state in Nigeria, and there wasn't anything wrong with these elections. So the gentlemen I have in the studio here we are going to discuss this issue and why it was unique as far as Nigeria is concerned and Africa is concerned. When elections are held in Africa, we all know what the differences are. Now, my first guest is Honorable Ambassador Eric Chikadibia Nzekwe,
correct,
who is the chairman of the All Progressive Grand Alliance. Welcome here in the UK. Welcome to the program.
Thank you very much.
My next guest is Adeyinka Makinde, a lecturer and author who's based here in London. Welcome to the program.
Thank you.
Yeah. And my final guest is Honorable Chief Okechukwu. I'm thinking about you can pronounce your name.
Honorable Chief Okechukwu, Emereonye.
Emereonye.
Deputy Chairman, Africa UK.
Yeah, thank you very, very, very much. I'm going to make sure that the next time I get all these things right. Now, the party won. And maybe I'll start with the chairman. There must be something you're doing right to win Anambra again. And they're saying, well, as Africa is always and as Nigerian politics is, there must have been something. As we go along, of course, we'll talk about it. Even the president sent practically units of the army there expecting trouble, and they never took place. Then there was never any trouble at all, and the state people were voted back in office. Well, what is being done right for the party to go back into winning the governorship, and yet you are changing governors to another governor?
The truth is, in the last 16 years, Anambra State has been getting it right.
Okay.
Under the party APGA, APGA, or Progressive Grand Alliance.
Yeah.
In 2015, we were lucky to have a visionary leader who emerged as the national chairman of APGA. His name is Dr. Victor Ikeoye.
Okay.
We visited him. He opened up to us and told us his vision for the party. In the vision, me and my BOT chair, we queued in immediately. And even the present governor-elect, he predicted it in front of us that the next governor after the incumbent serves out will be Professor Soludo. He doesn't know how it's going to happen, but he knows it's going to be Soludo.
All right, yeah. He predicted it.
Yes.
Yeah.
He has no personal relationship with him.
Yeah.
He has nothing. But he told us that he wants Anambra to be governed by technocrats. Yeah. And that Anambra will continue to get it right. Because when you watch what's going on in Nigeria, you find out that Anambra have the best security architecture. Anambra, the best in agriculture.
Yeah.
Anambra, the best in education. Anambra, the best in older technology and innovations. So you can see, and Anambra is the only state that pays salary in Nigeria as at when due.
Oh, really?
So the man was nicknamed.
That's interesting, yeah.
An alert governor.
Yeah.
And his other name is Walking Willie.
Walking Willie.
Yes, because he is doing well.
Yeah.
So when you look at that, you don't want something that is good to change.
Yeah.
And when you look at what's happening in the country, the other states that are occupied by APC governors, you find that there are bandits, there are non-gunmen, there are herdsmen disturbing them. Do you understand me?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So how then do you want to change it with something that you know is not going to work? So obviously, with that vision the national chairman had, we queued in.
Okay.
We began to campaign for good governance and good leadership. We had a global summit 2016, wasn't it? In United Kingdom, where we, brought in some technocrats, leaders, politicians to come and discuss the way forward in terms of economic growth and good leadership in Nigeria, using Anambra as a case study.
All right.
Yes. So you can see that the president of Nigeria, Muhammad Buhari, embraced the governor of Anambra State, Willie Obiano.
Oh, he did, yeah.
Yes, he embraced him.
Yeah, yeah.
He believed in him.
Yeah.
So other state governors, the vice president, you can see they keep visiting and everything.
Yeah.
So they came to tap in.
Of what you've achieved.
Yes, from what he has achieved. So when you look at that, you don't want to change such.
Yeah.
Anambra was safe, cool, till this period where they wanted to do election. Even with the IPOB and all the rest of them that they think are disturbing them, ESN and all the rest of them. Anambra was calm, cool. There were no killing. But immediately they kick off the election. You see what's going on everywhere, unknown government, bandits. So who are those doing this? IPOB has denied it's not them. Do you understand me? They say ESN cannot kill their brothers. Do you understand what I'm saying? So who is doing this? There must be a fifth columnist, isn't it?
Yeah, of course.
What do you think?
Yeah, I don't know.
You don't know. So this is the area. Now, with such vision that the man had, and every other governor that occupies a position, a governorship position under APGA,
Yeah.
uses our manifesto. Our manifesto is people-oriented manifesto.
Of course, yeah.
It's more friendly to the people. It's more grass-rooted. So when you look at it, and if you carry out what is in our manifesto, you find that you practically will take good governance straight to the grassroots.
It's anti-Nigeria. Is it anti-Nigeria because it's so good?
It is so good.
I want Mr.
I appreciate the comments of
Yeah,
my fellow guests.
Yeah.
I think, looking at things in a more sober fashion, I think all of Nigeria, just as all of Africa,
Yeah.
We can take what we can from any positive developments.
Of course.
I mean, if we go back, it was a good thing, for instance, when Jonathan,
Goodluck Johnson, yeah.
lost the election to Buhari. There was a smooth transfer of power where difficulties could have arisen, and he conceded where people felt there may be trouble. A few other points. It's worth also going back. Buhari does have a relationship with Anambra and with the AJPA, because in the 2003 elections, there was a pact between the then leader, Dim Chukwuemeka Ojukwu,
Okay,
who was a lieutenant colonel, led the secession.
We're talking about before the Biafra War.
Who led that secession.
Yeah.
And so and Buhari was a junior officer.
Junior officer, yeah.
Prosecuted that on the federal side. So they had an agreement to support each other against the Obasanjo government. And there was...
Does that agreement still stand, you think?
Well, I'm just putting that as a background.
Okay.
Because history counts
in
terms of relationships.
Yeah.
He's spoken about Buhari embracing Willie Obiano. So, let's just give a bit of context there.
Okay.
And positive as it is. So at that point in time, interestingly, there were these allegations that there were electoral fraud, and Obasanjo and Ojukwu, Buhari and Ojukwu came up with something called the Daura Agreement.
Oh, yeah.
That Daura Declaration.
I read about it, but it's not unwritten.
What it said was that, Nigeria, they believe in the oneness and the indivisibility of Nigeria. And secondly, that they would obey the rule of law. They would challenge things and not use violence. And so if the fast forward to 2021, the APGA believes in that, I think that's a wonderful thing.
Yeah.
But still very important, given the opening remarks that we've had, it's very important not to just only paint a rosy picture. There are problems that subsist, like in the rest of Nigeria. Health service, for instance. An ex-governor, Chris Ngige, number of years ago, he was saying, we've got enough doctors in Nigeria. Just in the last few weeks, he's saying that, we need to keep them in Nigeria for 9 years on a bond.
I've read about that.
See?
Yeah,
so there are issues to do with the health service in Anambra. We mustn't get into the idea of setting the bar low. But where there's progress, yes, acknowledge it.
No, but
as far as security is concerned, I believe the husband of Dora Akinyuli, the late Dora Akinyuli, he was assassinated. Now, whether that was in Anambra, I don't know if that was by fifth columnists, but IPOB have carried out murders in the past. Now, it may be this one wasn't their fault. We don't know that for sure.
Okay.
But we do have issues to do with health. We have issues to do with security. We also have issues to do with pollution, for instance. Like the pollution of the Onitsha was declared, one of the world's most polluted city as far as air was concerned, just a few years ago. Finally, just one more thing, just add. There's also the issue of the Onitsha, very important historical town in Anambra. Onitsha to Owerri Road. Where you had something that a car sinking in that road. So problems with infrastructure. So very happy to see this measure of stability and peacefulness in Anambra. But let's not get caught up in too much self-congratulation. We need to definitely set an example where we can for our fellow countrymen.
Yeah.
But we must also make sure we're not setting the bar just above
No,
the others.
what I was looking at, which is unique, like I said at the beginning in my intro, the uniqueness in the thing that with all the security which was sent to Anambra and nothing, well, there wasn't anything, which means to a certain extent people supported the party, APG, in a sense that, okay, other parties were there. Despite the fact that there was people had left the party to join the other party, he still won the elections. So which means, as I keep saying, there's something they're doing right. What is that something that is going on right? You have a different opinion on this?
As my chairman have said,
Yeah.
it's all about ABGA manifesto.
Yeah, ABGA.
The first thing is the manifesto. The second thing is to bring somebody that could carry out the manifesto to later. And as he rightly said, ABGA have gotten it right, Anambra has gotten it right. I remember when ABGA controls Imo State.
Yeah.
Under Chief Rocha Sokorocha. His first year as an ABGA governor, everybody was applauding him. Second year, he left ABGA, and that was where the problem started.
Oh, right.
To APC. Well, as my brother have said, actually, we know we have problems in Nigeria.
Of course.
No doubt about that. But again, we believe that political party matters, individuals matters.
Of course.
If Anambra could get it right, I'm sure that others could try, despite the defect on our system.
Oh, yeah, because the defection was too much.
Yes.
Senators, senators and all this.
The system is one of the major problems. The system we run in Nigeria. A lot of people have criticized 1999 Constitution. They have called for restructuring of the country. Nobody's listening to that.
That's what iPod and
Now,
people are
that's
saying.
what gave birth to agitations.
Yeah, this
from different angles.
Namdi Kanu's
So, as he rightly said, yes, I believe that ABGA have done well. We got it right from the national chairman down to the governor right now. And of course, a lot of us know who the next incoming governor is.
Of course, yeah.
He wouldn't like to lower the bar at all. One, he must work with the manifesto of ABGA, and again, his pedigree, and his should speak so a volume in governance, in good governance, taking it to the grassroots. Again, as he rightly mentioned, like the Onitsha Road, it's a federal road. That's the problem.
Yeah. You got that
Why
federal
can't
roads
the
and
federal allow the state
exactly.
to control all those things?
Yeah,
Why?
yeah. That
The
has been a
pollution
big
in Onitsha
that has been a
could have
big
been
debate.
controlled. Could have been controlled. Again, if the federal don't do what they're supposed to do. Again. So we are not blaming the ABGA government in Anambra State for that 100%.
Yeah.
Although everybody have got their own little blame. And but the federal system is something to look into if Nigeria should move forward.
Okay, I want to bring in something here which I observed, and I saw this during the debate, and it was the debate which was taking place of the candidates who wants to be governor of Anambra. And one of the things that they talked about their manifestos, but the question came from a person who was interviewing them about money, where the money was going to come from, was a big issue. The state has no money. The Anambra state has no money. So this is one of the things. And then it was forced over the years to prioritize what should be on the table for them to deal with. Say, for example, in education, security, health, and all the others. The outgoing governor was talking about how can I privatize when hospitals are this, how can I privatize, how can I leave education behind? Everything needs money. Certain projects have to go on. And now the new governor is coming in. There's no money. What should, the manifesto is very good. I've gone through it, and it's very good. And it's like any other manifesto of the country and so on, of the party, it's good. But the problem is you need to find the money. And sometimes the money has to be formed within the state. You don't have to go if you go to the central government, that's where the biggest problem is. The money doesn't come. So you have to find a way of picking up the resources from the state itself. What should be prioritized? Now the governor, even the incoming governor didn't have an exam. What can we prioritize? Hospitals, health is very important. Schools are also, health, education is important. When you look at it now as Nigerians, what can be prioritized as far as this is concerned? Because it's a problem it's going to face anyway. Chairman?
Yes. But if you're in
that position,
before I go into that, I want to correct an impression.
Okay.
My brother here said something about the Dora Akunyele husband.
Yeah. Being assassinated,
and he was referring to IPOB.
Okay.
And IPOB have come openly and vehemently denied that they don't kill their people.
Yeah.
IPOB agitation, Nnamdi Kanu, who happened to be the leader of the IPOB agitation, usually supports the Nigerian government in the past. But what everyone wants is equality, a fair share. Nigeria is a multi-cultural, multi-ethnic nation. As such, every other part of the country must be accommodated.
Of course, yeah.
When we talk about federal character, if Nigeria is not obeying it, there's no way you can have even relative peace in it. And if you allow speculators, touts, and people who have nothing to do with governance to go into government, they will legitimize it. You understand what I mean?
Yeah, I do.
When someone who is empty, who doesn't have that creativity or that, how will I put it, the wherewithal to thinker or to become, because leaders have to be critical thinkers.
Of course.
And it's only through critical thinking that you can be able to create what can lead, that can help you to grow and develop.
Of course.
You understand me? There must be projection.
Yeah, of course.
And that projection must be carried out and followed by any subsequent government that comes into play. But in Nigeria, it's not like that. Willie Obiano spent more than 40 billion working on federal roads and federal projects. And now how to beg the federal government to pay him back, I don't even know if they have paid. So when he talked about the road that sank, is a federal road.
Of course.
I am happy that he brought it into play in this discussion, because that is to show the height of the neglect to the southeast of Nigeria. You remember when they accused Buhari of using the language of dot.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
How could a president say that? A president is supposed to be for all.
Exactly. You
understand me? Prior to his emergence, we believe that he has the pedigree.
Yeah.
You understand me? And integrity to change things and stop corruption. Because corruption is rooted in the nation.
Yeah.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
I want to come to that in a minute, but
now let's go into how he will generate the money.
Yeah.
The governor-elect, we all know, he won the best central bank during his time.
Of course,
happened to be during Obasanjo administration, which my brother here mentioned.
Yeah.
So I'm happy to say that we have someone who had the reach and the network. He is a consultant and advisor to a lot of global institutions. Call it IMF, World Bank, and all the rest of them. So look at that. He could tap on them.
Yeah, but there is something also that might come up, which I didn't want to bring right now. It's the connection when he was governor of the central bank as well, where he didn't stand firm enough when money was disappearing from left and right.
No, the central bank governor is not the finance commissioner. He is there to stabilize the financial institution.
But you have a voice when you're there.
Now let me put it this way.
It's like I'm here as a presenter. Okay. Then I said my producer, my director, is the man who's that's got nothing to do with me. It's the director's job. And somewhere along the, but I'm here and I know that something is going wrong, and I don't mention it to the public or to the.
But the man, Professor Soludo, put himself on. He put himself on the risk.
Yeah.
When he has to merge different banks.
Yeah.
You know, in Nigeria, individuals just own banks. You understand me? And then when you put millions in the bank, you go to take the millions. Nobody gives you money anymore.
Listen,
I don't know. Really understand me?
I understand.
But this man called Soludo, you understand me? He brought about the merger. that stabilized Nigerian bank. Yeah. And Nigerian banks are very competitive in the global world.
Of course,
the Zenith banks, the UBAs. Yeah. You want me to mention all of them?
No, I know.
It's going to consume our time. But I must tell you that internationally, IMF, World Bank, all of them, they all recognize that Nigerian banks are doing well. Who championed this? It's Soludo.
Listen, he did, and I'm not denying that. But all I'm saying is
what else could he have done? What else could he have done? What else could he have done?
I want to give money was being stolen.
Listen,
he could have said, look,
because the money was
something, or I would resign.
Yes, money was being stolen.
I want to give others a chance as well. Okay, yeah. But you're talking about it because that position of where he should have said something. We shouldn't really go so deeply into that. He didn't do that. But the position of what to select from is the key thing I'm trying to look at here. Because Anambra, like all the other states in Nigeria, will have a similar problems as well. Now, if the central government is telling you to find money in your tax blow problems and all that, and then build hospitals and build this, that we don't have any money to give you, then what is the point of the central government? Because like the manifestos were there saying, oh, we'll get this from the central government, but we'll have to cut these projects in order to get proper funding.
We're speaking about funding.
Yeah.
Okay. Here's the answer. And the APG, to their credit, they put themselves forward as a progressive party.
Yeah.
I know that Soludo said politics needs to be more ideologically driven, ideas driven.
Yeah.
That's something I agree with. I've written about.
Yeah.
Now, they've also, a part of their party philosophy is decentralization.
Okay.
And that would be a good thing, not just for Anambra, but for all the states. I think that would lead to more accountability.
Of course.
It's a question of how you align the restructuring. You know, you obviously may keep certain things firmly in the center in the federal government.
Yeah.
Nigeria isn't the only federation that has had problems reaching some sort of a balance.
Yeah.
And then states' rights. Now, on the issue of funding, again, we're not just talking about today, we need to look at things historically. And I was just thinking that back in the 1980s, one of the military governors of Anambra State, his name was Group Captain Emereonye. He became an air commodore later on. This was during the administration of the regime of General Babangida. And he had the same problem. But I think the problem about money at that time was about the structural adjustment, which was imposed by the global institutions, the IMF, etc. They were in favor of development economics, 1960s and 70s, but then come the 1980s, it was a new era. And he was complaining about funding. Where am I going to get funding from? And you know, they had institutions here. So Emereonye, I will give him credit. I do give those military rulers credit where they tried something. And one thing that was going on in Anambra at the time is that they had something called the Employment Generation Task Force, and another thing called the Anambra State Education and Technology Fund.
Yeah, that one is still existing.
And what he had to do, what he then said was that there's no money that's going to come from
the central
government. What he then said is, let me appeal to the self-help capabilities, I'm paraphrasing here, of the people of Anambra. And of course, in the history of Nigeria, people understand, particularly when the Biafran tragedy occurred, a snapshot of the Igbo people was, they were people of enterprise and the like. And so, you see, here's the deal. In any of these conversations I have on your show or on place I go to or when I write,
I've got to give opportunities as well. But give me. We don't have a show.
At WorldRemit, we understand what the journey is about. How it can sometimes take a little distance to bring us a little closer together. With ways to save more when you send more, WorldRemit is here for you, so you can be there for them. At WorldRemit, we understand what the journey is about, how it can sometimes take a little distance to bring us a little closer together. With ways to save more when you send more, WorldRemit is here for you, so you can be there for them.
Welcome back. You had a point you're trying to complete.
Yes.
But my whole idea is that where should the money come from? That's one thing. If it's going to come from within, that means the Anambra state, like any other states in Nigeria, have to raise taxes in the various things that they are doing in order to get the money, or do some kind of fundraising.
Not all, yes.
So it's some kind of fundraising.
It's not only that. So what Emereonye said is a gateway to what my point is about.
Yeah.
That whatever the circumstances are, we have precedents, like in Ethiopia. They wanted to build the Grand Renaissance Dam.
Yeah.
They didn't go to the IMF.
Yeah.
It was unpopular because of pressure from Egypt and America favoring Egypt. So what did? They raised money, a lot of money internally from the people. And this is what can happen because I have connections with different Igbo unions in the UK for decades. You know, youth and village. And they raise money for their villages. You know, things like clinics and schools. So if they can think of things,
I've been on one of those occasions anyway.
Right.
Ogoni is in which region?
Right?
Yeah, Ogoni Society. I've been on one of their ceremonies.
You know, if they can do it on a larger level, now that will involve a lot of trust and on the part of the people who are putting the money towards the government. But that would be a route, just like the Grand Renaissance Dam was built. But they just need to expand on the resources they have, particularly in the diaspora. And then they can meet the needs of these challenges. If the federal government will help, you can actually do it yourself, and you can do it internally. And already existing modes of self-help, such as through these diaspora events, can be utilized.
Does this make sense at all? Raising funds using people who are paying taxes? The government is the Anambra governors. The next coming governor is going to face that problem, and I saw during the debate when it was really a troubling question that he couldn't really answer properly. Not just him, but all the others as well. Although it's there in the manifesto that they have got to do something, but at the end of the day, it's very disturbing to Nigerians as well.
Well, yes, it has always been a problem where the federal government do not allow member states to
do certain things,
not even to do certain things, to control whatever that comes out of that state. It's always a problem. So you can only rely on the federal government to finance some major projects. However, in the case of the incoming governor, he tried to answer that question. He simply said he has connections across the world. He can, meet his friends. He can mobilize Anambarians across the world. And of course, we know that Anambarians have a lot of billionaires amongst them across the globe. And in Igbo land, I could say that we have always been have this community oriented support for everyone. We can, when we say we take a project, everybody could just put in a pause and we do it. Having said that, it might be nice for you to know that when Willie Obiano came into power, the IGR of the state was very low.
Of course,
and he was able to increase it. There are a lot of loopholes where people don't pay taxes.
Of course,
And Soludo have said it. He's going to look into those things and make sure that the people of Anambra pay their taxes. I'm pretty sure that you could increase the IGR of Anambra State. I have already also witnessed individuals building 5-kilometer roads in Anambra State, supported by the state government. The problem we have sometimes is when the state government refused to give individuals the opportunity to do the roads.
To do that.
Even the roads that lead to their own houses.
Another thing, which is extremely, which is also which a couple of years ago was not allowed by Anambra. I think one of the governors had a problem, a similar problem, because when money comes in from abroad, which is individual money, and it goes or from billionaires or whatever who are trying to help the state, the biggest problem that has always been is that the government gets worried about that money coming from abroad. It is a problem Ethiopia is facing. It is a problem that other parts of Africa are facing, Kenya, even Uganda to a certain extent, whereby if there's a lot of money coming in, those in power, this is a threat. This is a threat to them, because if you're going to have people who are billionaires, the chances will come when suddenly they want changes. And the history of the United Kingdom is packed with that, because a long time ago the monarchs used to rule, but as soon as the landowners or people became wealthy, they started seeing that's how the Labour government, that's how the Labour Party came into power, to challenge the Conservatives who were the ruling elite. Now a similar thing is going to happen in Anambra. If money starts coming in, the central government could find a way of blocking that money. And this is what the governor faced, who is Soledad, the current governor, the one who's becoming governor.
Is it the incoming, the professor?
Yeah.
Soledad.
He faced that when he was
central bank.
Because money, he was being asked, there is a lot of money coming into the country, which the government is not aware of. And you are the governor of the central bank. How is this money? How does this money come here? And
that's the diaspora remittance. Yeah, is that what you're talking about?
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah.
Okay.
And I said, look, how did this money come into the country? And the government is not. You are supposed to alert us that this money is coming into the country and this money is doing this. Otherwise, we're going to have guerrilla warfare, people coming in who are buying arms or buying this because they have the money. So somewhere along the way, there's that disturbance that could happen in Anambra if you go that route of getting money in to do individual projects and do what the federal government would have done, like roads and so on. Uganda has the same problem.
Yeah, but Anambra has the antidote. That's why I tell you that APGA as a party currently is the only party in Nigeria that has its own headquarters owned by them.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
And this happened with the current national chairman. That's why I call him the visionary national chairman. Yeah, and I try to call him the Nostradamus of our time.
No, you understand me? It could happen because the money is not yet a lot. Now, if it raises to about $1 billion, for example, that is where the
do you know the employment rate? The employment rate. This thing in Anambra, apart from Lagos, I think, or Abuja. Apart from Lagos, Anambra is the second.
Okay.
With high employment rate. They have good employment rate. Yeah. And then how does this man pay? And he took development straight to the community. The community project. You remember the community project.
That's a yearly,
meant for the artisans.
Yearly project. Yes.
And the low earners. So they can be stable. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then Igbo people or the Southeasterners are very enterprising. Just like our colleague here, the lecturer said. He talked about the Emereonye time and everything. And in terms
on Onitsha market literature.
hold on. Both Aba and all the rest of them.
Not only that,
Igbo, without the oil.
Sorry, it might interest you to know that the Imo State Airport was built by the people of Imo State.
Okay.
Everybody was contributing towards that, including students.
You were contributing,
Yes, I did. Everybody contributed to build that airport. And that is the same spirit Anambras have embedded in developing Anambra State up to this moment. Now, again, as you rightly said, you could give it to a man if you don't have the right man there. And the same man will embezzle the funds.
Of course.
So that's what our party have made sure, that whoever that we are going to put on that seat will be a man that will not embezzle even funds from the market woman.
You put a structure there to make sure that
the party also checkmate what they do. And Anambra has gotten it right. How I wish that APGA have other governors. Then we can now do a proper comparison to what APC and the PDP is doing. Don't get me wrong, we're not trying to market our
Yeah. no, but it's a good strategy.
Yeah, but it's true.
I want to hear what you have to say.
No, but remember, I don't want us to forget one of the big projects of the current governor.
Yeah.
I know he will be leaving by March. He built, arguably, the best airport in Africa.
Okay.
It has a hangar. You can actually maintain Boeings in the airport.
Okay.
The FAN and all the institutions that are responsible for approving airports in Nigeria, they said this is the best they have ever seen. How did he raise the money?
He didn't borrow the money.
Borrow the money.
Yeah.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it is in competition with the national, and he's doing well.
Okay. Now, if Anambra is doing so well, can this be exported to other parts of Nigeria? Because corruption, my goodness, I was going through this, and Nigeria is called the Premier League. If the African Premier League, according to the London Stock Exchange think tank, Nigeria, in as far as if corruption is mentioned, Nigeria is the head of the Premier League, according to the London think tank. And it should have been one of the most developed countries because it earns more money in oil than United Arab Emirates. But how can, if such strategies that you're mentioning about Anambra can be transported to other parts of Nigeria, the central government...
You've answered it. They need to embrace ABGA.
Yeah, ABGA, I'm saying that, but how can you transport it to other parts of Nigeria?
Very possible.
How?
I'm very simple. All I would just want Nigerians to understand is that let's use Anambra as a case study.
Yeah.
You understand me? We've test run
Yeah.
the nation with Anambra.
Yeah.
And then what we have seen is continuity. There is a sequence. You know, I'm not a believer of absoluteness.
Yeah.
Absoluteness for me is not a virtue.
Okay.
So that there is always room for flexibility.
Yeah.
All I'm asking is that people like, is he the Attorney General of the nation?
Yeah.
Who left Borno, Kaduna, Katsina and tried to declare state of emergency in Anambra? What kind of a leader is that? He was supposed to be suspended from his position, but he was not.
Yeah.
How could he have said that? This is kind of leader we have.
Listen, the biggest problem that you have, and I think the lecturer will agree with me here, is that something is embedded in people's corruption is in the blood. In other parts, it's there. If you don't put structures there that can prevent it, where someone will try to go in the bank and rob, and the policeman outside holding gun and say, hey, what are you doing? If you don't, there's no structure there among the senators and all the top people within the government. That's why it's easier for someone to walk in and steal whatever. You need to put a structure in place.
Reorientation.
If a number has put it in place, why can't the rest of Nigeria do it?
Reorientation is needed.
Okay.
You understand me?
Yeah.
Some of them still have that colonization mentality.
Yeah, okay.
You understand what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, if we want a robust economy, look at the Ajokuta still. Do you understand me? We have the natural resources to have a steel company. Subsequent government ignores it. You remember recently we had about a building falling in Ikoyi. You heard about it. The building that collapsed. That collapsed in Ikoyi. How could you use 12 mm, 16 mm to build a 22 or 21 in Britain and in all parts of the world?
Yeah.
That is why America and Britain, all the Western world, they use the language of global north, global south. They see the global south as the third world. These are the people they manufacture gun and go and give it or ship it to us to kill ourselves.
Yeah.
But here, they have all the technology, they have a steel company, they produce car engines, they produce visually everything. They can live independently as long as they want. Now what we need is to make politics unattractive in Nigeria.
Unattractive.
Unattractive.
Yeah.
Not to be attractive.
Well, look, I've stated it many times, and this would go for every part of Nigeria, every part of Africa. Just very quickly on the issue of corruption. You need something that is that attacks it culturally.
Yeah.
By, use the word reorientate, through education, through just a changing of culture, through the intellectual leadership through the education system and other systems of socialization. And then, as you were mentioning, structures in place. So it's a two-pronged thing. Very quickly, though, then one gets a bit sensitive about the issue of corruption, because I look at global institutions, big investment banks, big pharma. That's what you call corruption, if we peel through the layers of things. And if we also look at the way in which certain countries have been invaded with impunity by the so-called developed civilized world and outright destroyed in the post-war period, I call that barbarism. Okay? But onto this issue of, because it then links into what I always basically say, that Nigeria, Africa, whether it's going to be Anambra wanting to set the standard on as a state polity, but I believe it's always better if it's larger for development. Yeah, you need that largeness. And it's about this, developing a minimum industrial base. Let's see that blueprint, because it's not something you do in 5 years or 10 years. When Russia was transformed by the Soviet Union, when South Korea was transformed by Major General Park Chung-hee.
That's good history.
When Singapore was transformed by Lee Kuan Yew, you had 10, 15, 25-year outlooks, two things. You set the template and you say to yourself, okay, this is Anambra State, but I'd rather be talking about the whole of Nigeria or the sub-region of Nigeria. You've got natural gas, you've got bauxite, you've got oil. Now, those are rudimentary, well, I say rudimentary, those are very rich minerals from which, if you increase the capacities for their excavation, you can earn money from them being sold. And when you earn money from that being sold, you then finance these stages you've prepared for the future of your industrial development. And what I mean by industrial development is we're talking about agricultural, the industrialization, mechanization of agriculture, not a peasant culture, petrochemicals, built so that Nigeria, Anambra, or Guinea, parts of Guinea, they have or Angola, they have the ability to harness these raw materials from the ground, they've got the educated people, diaspora and internally, to turn these materials into capital goods, all without even having to import things, as these countries like South Korea have to do. And they can do that all within an internal currency regime. So that is what everybody should be aiming for.
Yeah, I know. But the biggest problem is it has to be a collective effort. It has to be definitely a collective
effort. And you remember my answer to your question, which I think you buttressed. You mentioned the thing about Imo Airport. It's about using those systems already available through the unions,
which has to be sold
and then to transfer it to government.
To all the Nigerians.
As collective effort. Collective effort. When Congo has the ingredients to produce a mobile phone.
You see,
I want his opinion on this.
My input to this is, before this program started, we were having a discussion. And I did say that we're Africans, it's like we have 1 million solutions to our problem. Truth is that we know our problem.
Yeah, of course we do. We do. Yeah, I remember that.
And we can mention 1 million solutions.
Exactly.
But implementing those solutions, even one, has always been a problem.
Yeah, that's where the problem
now,
is.
the truth remains that have Africans sat down to ask themselves, what is the genesis of their problem? Where is it coming from? They shouldn't forget so quickly that they have colonial masters. Are they really gone?
No, they're not gone.
Exactly. So how could we do all these things if they're still there? What is their interest? Those are the fundamental questions Africans will have if we want to make any progress in Africa, implement what our brother is talking about. We must first and foremost deal with the enemy within and outside.
Now,
can I just comment? Can I just brush up something, please? When we talk about, I feel we tend to color these things too much. One, places like Congo they have the resources and ingredients that's used in manufacturing telephone. Tell me an African country that manufactures telephone. No.
I think South Africa.
There was one produced in Rwanda, but these are
just recently.
Pieces, yes.
Yeah. Recently.
The Rwanda one is they're not actually producing them. They are sort of bringing them and they assemble them.
Oh, really?
You see what I'm saying?
No, it's not.
You see what I'm saying?
It's not. It's not as if they can.
Do you know my time?
Do you get me? Yeah. So we want to find out why can't we?
Exactly.
Until we find that answer, why can't we?
Exactly.
You can move forward.
When I was in the university, I studied industrial chemistry then, and I had the privilege of producing using local palm wine. Do you understand me? To produce vinegar. My title was synthesis of ethanoic acid to produce vinegar. How did I do this? Through local palm wine, from plant.
Why didn't you go ahead with the project?
No, that's what I'm saying.
Exactly.
That is too
good have been one of the richest.
That's what I'm saying. I said there is decay in all aspects. The structures are. Does Nigeria have no? In fact, Africa. That is why Soludo is a Pan-Africanist.
Yeah, of course.
You understand what I'm saying? If you watch what he did, he tried to establish. Is it AFSC? Is it African Finance Corporation? Is it AFC during his time? Something that can compete like World Bank, where Africans can come and borrow money. Did Africans embrace it? But all of them didn't even embrace it.
Look, he was always facing challenge because the people who are earning a lot of from this corruption will never allow anybody. This is why it needs to be a culture that changes, because if you're earning 10 billion from something, you don't really want it to go away. You still want to earn your free money, and that is why we have the corruption.
People are not producing. Africa did not produce COVID vaccine. Well, other countries produce COVID vaccine. Why is that? We have a Nigerian who works with Pfizer.
I have something which I've always brought on the program, and I've always faced opposition, and I brought it during one of the debates with Nigeria and also with the other Zimbabweans. That is the question of using outside help from outsiders, having UAE, United Arab Emirates, and Qatar. Half of the people, in fact, I should say all the people, 80% of the people in United Arab Emirates are foreigners. With them, they said, we have the money. You come here. We want this and that. And the English people, the engineers, have built United Arab Emirates. Qatar is being built by Americans, and so we're looking at foreign companies in there. Nigeria had a chance at one point to have a foreign company going in there and controlling. Somebody came with one of the senators, I think, it wasn't in Anambra, it was in one of the states. He said, look, we need to, if we don't kill everybody who is a politician, then let's get people from outside whom will be pointing a finger at and say, look, where is this money? But at least if there's people in administration, it might be better. We might be better off. Because now even people are saying maybe colonialists were better than, when Robert Mugabe took over Zimbabwe, there were hospitals in Zimbabwe. There was everything in Zimbabwe. He even used to go for treatment when he got injured to government hospitals. When he came to power, by the time he died, he was going abroad for treatment. Yet Zimbabwe,
because he lacks the emotional intelligence.
That's why I'm saying that
he lacks the emotional intelligence.
Can Nigeria allow foreigners to come in, take over most of the bigger work, and run companies in Nigeria? Run companies in Nigeria.
There's only one answer to that.
That is
any self-respecting person would say, and that is simply no.
United Arab Emirates have done that. Why are they successful? Why can it work in United Arab Emirates and it can't work in Nigeria?
The examples you've given about the UAE and parts, those people are underpopulated. So they need people who the underclass, who they get as maids, for instance, and workers.
The top engineers.
Let me finish.
The top engineers, the top lawyers, the top people in UAE, the top companies that are there.
Yeah.
Are not cleaners.
No. We've got to take both of them. I'm not denying that. I know people who work there.
Yeah.
So the point I'm saying is that they have a population deficit.
Okay.
So they have no choice. Both for those on the underclass, Pakistani, Filipino, Ethiopian maids, workers, to the lawyers and the engineers. Now, if you're talking about recolonizing Africa, no. And then if you're saying that, well, should we still remain in this state of regression? The answer also is no. That we have to, within ourselves. And we've just made certain discussions here about how, through effort, but with an effort that ensures that there's accountability with government, that people can raise money and ensure that accountability from government. So an absolute no, you are selling yourselves out, which has always happened. Has always happened. And you mentioned this issue about World Bank, IMF. Well, that is an absolute truth. That Africa has not needed to rely on them, because whether you go back to the World Bank, 1960s, 1970s, it was the time of development economics. A lot of Western governments were actually socialist in orientation, Britain, etc., and the World Bank reflected that. So they supported something like Julius Nyerere and his socialist aims. But then the change occurred with the Paul Volcker, the rise of Thatcher, and the rest. But whether it's development economics or whether it's neoliberalism, the raison d'etre of the IMF and these global Bretton Woods institutions is indebtedness. They fuel indebtedness, and before you know it, African nations are paying. They find themselves in a position where they don't have enough money to service the debts, not to talk about investing in other things. Now, look, this is very important because it's not just Africa. You can see it happening in other parts. Europe, for instance. Greece is a good example. So this idea about usury and the way the World Bank operates is counterproductive. It's up to Africans to be able to manipulate the way.
Do you remember the African Financial Corporation I mentioned?
Yes.
That could have challenged IMF and World Bank. Why didn't Africa embrace it? Is it because it's Soludo that championed it? Now let me tell you something. During the recession, remember Nigeria did not go into recession because of Soludo. So if a man, Soludo was supposed to be the president of Africa. If Africa should have a president. No, to be honest with you, what we need is critical thinkers. Because we live in a global world where corporate crime is regarded as a normal norm. The African nations, not African nations, some of the global north nations or the alpha nations, they have legitimized corporate crime. Because what happens is they bring all these multinational companies, use it to tap into all these underdeveloped nations, strangulate them, and then at any point in time you try to liberate from them, they will change government for you. This is what happened during the Goodluck Jonathan time. He tried to source for ammunition. US didn't sell to him, Britain didn't. He went to South Africa. Before you could say Jack, the Obama administration changed their mind about him. They say he must go. Why wouldn't the guy give in? Why wouldn't the guy accept whatever happened? Do you understand me? During the 2015, the election was not free and fair. It was not free and fair, but the man gave in because he wants peace.
Let me say something here. We keep forgetting one thing. Is that if you let them do that, that's in fact what the Nigerian, the former finance minister, the lady herself,
Okonjo-Iweala,
she once said, look, she worked with this big organization and she knows how the structure is. Now, if you go and sit with them and you don't negotiate properly your side of the story, the way the people in Malaysia, the way the people in Indonesia, those people have a way they say, no, this is what we want. And these people listen. Because even though they don't take, they might say, no, we don't need you alone if that's what you're giving us. But look, the Chinese have come. We have wrong people who are negotiating for us. And because we have wrong people negotiating for us, They take advantage of that. That's what the World Bank and all these other IMF have been taking advantage of. So we can't blame them. We need to blame them.
Oh, of course.
Do you remember Amechi, what he said on the... You remember the Amechi case? Amechi, with all his intellectual, being a former governor, he was being interrogated by the Senate or something. He now said, is it not a crime for him to sell the sovereignty of Nigeria to China? Can you imagine? That's why I said I don't know whether they are smoking, they are smoking something that I don't know when they go into that place. Because it's really very, very shocking. Do you understand me? That someone who is a transport minister could say such a thing. That, okay, why are you going to borrow money? Rail tracks are built with steel, isn't it? We have a Ajaokuta steel. Why wouldn't the federal government even generate money internally, borrow money from the rich Nigerians? And how can Nigeria go develop economically when a group of few people are allowed to monopolize the economy of the nation, like the Dangotes, like the Boas?
People just have to be enlightened enough to demand.
Exactly.
Otherwise, we will just have more impoverishment and people risking their lives going across the Atlantic, going to Europe.
I concur with you on that.
Exactly.
It's up to us to demand
now this issue,
our leaders and to find unity.
That's the point.
This issue here was somebody discussed the last governor of Nigeria was an Englishman. The last governor on half of that. He said in this statement, and I want to know whether he was totally 100% right. Nigeria is still very much a tribal society where local and tribal alliances count more than the national interest. So said Sir James Wilson Robertson, the last colonial governor of Nigeria. Was he right?
Well,
because if you can't have a national issue as it is, this is where the problem.
Do you know the man has indirectly told you about restructuring, that Nigeria needs to be restructured? Indirectly from the world, if you're a good thinker, you can be able to figure out that this man is telling you that Nigeria, every other thing that they do, a lot of people are aligned with their tribes. Do you understand me? More than the national.
So can that be the first thing you sort out? You solve before you start thinking.
Because that was the slogan the incumbent government of Buhari came with to win the election. Do you understand me? The government started with deficit, and anything that starts with deficit does not progress. They have to come back and confess to Nigerians, we've gotten it wrong. Because they came in and they said they will restructure. Am I right? They said they will restructure. That's one of the first things they will do. In terms of restructuring, you give power to the states. So let them have state police, let them be able to generate their own if you operate in American style, isn't it? So if you are doing it, how can a state tax a state like Rivers State, Imo State, Anambra State on VAT, tax and everything, and when you take this money back from their own state, you divide the money and you give places like Kano and Borno more than the state that generates the money? It's very unfair.
Has the American system of government failed in Nigeria?
Yes, it failed mostly.
It has never been practiced.
It has never been practiced. That's the point.
It's never been practiced.
Yes, it has never been practiced.
It's a name only.
Yes. Well, look, I think we also just very quickly, we also need to be. You mentioned America. Well, there's a difference between America now and America before, because they fought a civil war over states' rights. So federal government has increased its powers. But it is true to say, if you compare America, say with Europe, EU, that was becoming more federated, you will find that in America, it's not so much a big issue of how much money California earns, because California is, could be a power in itself. I know it's in decline at the moment, but it could be as an independent country. I mean, it would be one of the top 5 countries on the earth. Far in excess of Mississippi or Alabama, but this issue doesn't arise. Whereas in the EU, this division, certainly between the northern and the southern EU states, has arisen. So it depends. And I would just say, look, I agree with people who talk about restructuring, even secession. The problem is, are you seceding be honest, are you succeeding with the same mentality that you had? Because if you then have your Arewa Republic, your Oduduwa Republic, the Biafra Republic, if you still go in there with the same mentality you already have, then you just make these states ripe for recolonization, for neocolonialism, and where you have the rising of elites and the impoverishment. You just have Equatorial Guinea all over again, or you have South Sudan. So we need to be very careful, and we need to be very critical of ourselves.
Yeah, but the thing is, if it's not tried, because what if you don't know something and you haven't tried it? This is what IPOD leader was talking about.
I certainly agree with restructuring.
Yeah, he was also saying, look, if the system has failed, let's look at an alternative to this system. And all the other people are saying, no, especially those within the top areas of government and those who have got their money. They're thinking, if we change the structure now, no, it might not work for us because they are comfortable, those who are on top, but the people at the bottom are not. And that is where the whole thinking was coming about, saying, look, if we can restructure. Now, the idea, as you are saying, is good. If you're going in there with that mentality, then it will be useless. But if you haven't tried it, how do you know it's going to work? But you
well, I've been itching to say something on the issue of the statement.
The colonial master made, the former governor.
The last governor made.
James Wilson,
Governor General made. He's very correct, very right. However, our colonial masters, they know about this.
They knew, of course.
They know about it far before the amalgamation.
They did.
So if you know that it's going to be a problem, why do you amalgamate these people? Knowing that it's a lasting, it's going to stay there forever. Why do you still support a government that have abused human rights so much? Why do you still support it? Why haven't they? They're a sovereign nation, all in quotes, as they always say. All right? Coming to borrowing. If you're IMF, you give an individual money for the state, the individual embezzled the money, comes back to you, are you going to give another one?
Of course not.
You're not going to give another. Why do they still give him?
But it's not in their interest. They're looking at their
interest. That's the point.
Their interest matters more than your interest. It's what is happening with the Chinese as well, by the way.
Exactly.
The Chinese are looking after their interest. Even in the COP conference, when they didn't come, they realized that. Even the Russians said, look, if we are coming to this COP, and then you make us sign declaration about coal, when we are not getting any money. The Chinese want money. I was reading in the Times.
There's this climate change.
The COP26. That's why we are using coal. We are using this, but that's how we've managed to industrialize. Now, you guys industrialized years ago, and you became successful and have the money. Now, we are trying to go where you went. You got your money. Now you are saying, oh, let's look at the world together. Let's do this. So they're saying no until we sit down and say, okay, there will be this amount of you, because now they are thinking about the third world. They are thinking of, say, we give third world countries money so that, the world doesn't have to go bad. So we can
well, you mean,
but we need people
from industrialize?
No, not preventing them to the global. It's a kind of a global.
Hold on. Let me come in.
We have to
global warming. That's the same thing. That what they're saying is that if you set about industrializing, which it has to be said, Africa has not seriously attempted. I mean, you could give Kwame Nkrumah some credit in trying to do that. But in all seriousness, they have had easy access to Africa's resources. And they must be laughing all the way to the bank because Africans have not taken the mineral resources that they have under the earth
into their own hands at all.
Okay, let me come in. The global north seem to be agitated and scared. That is why they come up with the COP. Is it COP? COP26.
COP26.
They're looking ahead. They're trying to prepare their children. Africa, they are not tinkering. We need critical thinkers. That's why my brother here, who happened to be a lecturer, all I want him to do is that what he has gained being here, he should find a way to transfer it back to Africa so that people can gain before he leaves the mother earth.
But
a lot of is not the writing book is not enough. I want to follow him there. I will leave him there. I will give him the connection. Now, let me comment. What we need,
some specifics to some of your.
What we need is critical thinkers in Africa. If we have critical thinkers in Africa, Now, Africa, look at when Britain spoke about the green energy in terms of electric car some years back. Before 2030, that Britain will be fuel or diesel free on the road. I don't know whether you understand.
I do understand. Because
why is Africa not having such projections? The question you ask yourself is that the global north have discovered that Africans have migrated to all parts of Europe. They have tapped into what they know. They have tapped into the way they have tried to manipulate the world. And now they are scared. Now they don't want to stop us from tapping on our resources. I am not saying I'm a supporter of green energy. You understand me? I'm a supporter of planting trees, obviously. But we can't just come with all big momentum to stop all those resources. You understand me? The next one they'll stop crude oil. The next one they'll stop coal.
Of course
Nigeria has coal. The Nigeria have crude oil. So at each point in time, they muscle them out. They discourage them from moving forward. So this green energy thing, the COP26, has been structured before. For it to come now is to tell you how far long then it's been tinkered. Prior to using banknotes, our ancestors has a mode of payment, which Africa could have continued back in the days. How do we study ABC? In my language, we know how to spell it in our language. Now, what Africa needs to do is to find their own. Africa now need to start with COVID-19 vaccine, because Russia has their own. Is it Sputnik? What's Russian own called? Sputnik. Yes, or Sputnik or something. And China.
Of course.
Why can't Africa have their own?
Listen,
it's a very big embarrassment.
I know it is.
And all our leaders, look at our president globetrotting. What is he going there to do? What is our president going to France to do? What is he going to these places to do? What are they bringing back in? He should sit back and embrace governance and try to change things.
Unfortunately, he is merely continuing the terrible habits of the past.
Can I say something here, which an observer in the Guardian once wrote about? And a very interesting story. Nigeria has one of the most highly educated group of people in the world. In fact, if we're talking about in America, most of the top universities, most of the top lecturers, and even the PhD holders in each year, they have at least 20 to 30 Nigerians who hold such high degree. At Oxford here, you don't even count, and Cambridge. So
and in Leeds, Nigeria is a vice chancellor there.
Now they sent a number of experts. Nigeria asked one of the states in Nigeria, I don't know whether it was Congo but it wasn't Anambra anyway, one of the states. Something was happening in that state, and then they requested experts from a company here to go to Nigeria and help them with the expatriates there. And the 6 people who turned up in Nigeria as expatriates, only one was white. The others were Nigerian born, others both. All of them were highly educated, sent by the company. Then the man on the other side was saying, no, we need experts, and they said, no, these are the experts. They are the highly educated people. They are the ones to handle this. Only to realize that they were preferring a white person to come in and do the job rather than the fellow Nigerians. So they were saying, oh, no, we want your people. Until they said, yeah, but these are the best. We're sending you the best because you're going to give us money. And these are the best. But it turned out there were Igbos, there was an Igbo man, there was a Yoruba man there, and this project was in the northern part of Nigeria. So in the end, the company said, look, if you can't take in our experts, then we have to call our experts back. Because they saw giving these people money, Nigerian government money, instead they would rather give it to the white people. That shows you the division which is in the country. and something that is going to be very difficult to move, because it's embroidered in people's brain that an Igbo man can't work for me.
It's not something that we don't know already.
How do you deal with that?
Fela Anikulapo Kuti sang Kolo mentality.
Yeah.
I mean, that's from culture, from intellectual work. Others have written about this. Diasporan people as well as Nigerian people. That's something we need to seriously think about and discuss about.
Of course.
And, call it for what it is. Yeah. What you're saying actually is the premier of the northern region, Sardauna of Sokoto, did effectively operate that kind of system, because he was speaking about Robertson and the Nigerian tribal society. Of course, they manipulated it. They manipulated the first election. The British actually committed a fraudulent first election to ensure that the North could win and then join and amalgamate and become independent at the same time as southern Nigeria.
It was in their interest at the time.
Yes, the British felt that, yes, because colonialism was actually it's cheaper. Granting nations independence actually turns out to be more cheaper than colonialism. It costs you money to run a country, even though you're exploiting it. So if you give them the semblance of independence, but you keep them divided among each other, you've got a done deal. And so you have their proconsuls who work in their interests, like Mobutu, those sorts of people who sell their people out. So you're actually referring to sort of federal character. And that was a shame, because then there's no basis of a country. If you're saying you're not going to employ people from a particular part of Nigeria, the same country you have, you'd rather go for expatriates.
Yeah, and the expatriates were Nigerians. Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. Look, the whole
even
thing,
in the modern time, I mean, it's disgusting.
When I read the article, I couldn't believe it, and the man was explaining. He said, "Look, this is how divided. This is how divided." The country is. But my question is, this gentleman, the current governor, the outgoing governor once mentioned it, and the current incoming governor also mentioned it, and it was talking about bringing in those people who are not born in Anambra to work in Anambra. And then there were uproars here and there during the campaign. Why should we get people from Nguni State to come and do work in here? But they're Nigerians. And yet this man had mentioned it briefly. He said, look, if we have an expatriate from Enugu, why can't he come and work in Anambra?
Yes,
you see, so the unity structure of it all is a major point, and that has to come. Maybe even you people from the diaspora here, you might even sit here now on the same table, and you're having that problem.
You see, running the world is like a game of chess.
Yeah.
In a game of chess, you have to think a lot. Yeah. Because the target is your king, isn't it?
Yeah, of course.
You use your pawns to play around.
Yeah.
What have happened is that Africans, our ancestors, and all of them, I'm so angry with them.
Yeah.
Well, God forgive them. But to be honest to you, it's like a game of chess, and what they have done is to keep beating us in the game. And Nigerians have not been able to develop a lot of critical thinkers. Some section of the country believe that ruling the nation is in their hands, and they're not going to let go, even if they kill the country. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get it.
At the end of the day, I'm not a member of IPOB.
Yeah.
But I am Biafran in blood. Do you understand what I mean?
Yeah, I do.
I support restructuring.
Yeah.
I believe what Nnamdi Kanu is asking, maybe the concept or the style he's using is different. It's not the best style. But to be honest to you, Nigeria really, really needs to come to a round table.
Yeah.
Whether you call it referendum, whether you call it a new constitution, because even the constitution that Nigeria is using at the moment is a fraud.
Yeah.
It's instituted by a military government. How could a democratic nation be using a military constitution set up by the military?
Yeah.
So this is what I'm asking. What are they doing there? Are they okay? Don't you believe there is time of entry into the world and there is a time of exit? And when your time comes, it's not going to be extended.
You talk like a preacher now.
You understand what I'm saying? It's not going to be extended. Okay. So what I'm saying is that I can't even want to borrow. I wouldn't. No, I am not even a politician, to be honest. No, I only want to be a stakeholder because I believe in good governance. These are things I learned from my father. He happened to be privileged to fight the Second World War. He told me all about British government. He told me about the war. He told me about Second World War, 1940 something. You understand what I mean? So I happened to be privileged. I was young when he told me about it. Do you get what I mean? So for me, I believe Nigeria need to go back to the drawing board, and it would be a shame if Buhari would leave office, even with all the promises. You understand me? And he failed to bring Nigerians in the round table, talk about the restructuring. Because when Nnamdi is asking for referendum, it is whether when you go into referendum, either you restructure, give power either regional government or to the states. It might not really be secession. You understand what I'm saying? Okay, look at the Nigerian government lying against their own people. The recent massacre in the toll gate. You remember the white paper is out now, and it happened to be that the body they instituted to look into it confirmed there was a massacre. That would be a discussion for another day. To be honest to you, Nigeria has been getting it wrong. And how do we go back to the drawing board? The current leadership and the group of senators we have, they are not the right people for Nigeria.
Diaspora. Africans in the diaspora. Nigerians in the diaspora are in millions. And the structure should come. Now, you're the chairman of AGA. That's the party. APGA, sorry. Now, another chairman of another APC and another chairman of another party. You could sit down together, come up with a union. Zimbabweans have started this. They are coming up with a union in the diaspora because they realize the power of the money. I had a Zimbabwean here who said, look, we're coming up and we're saying, oh, our voices are going to be heard because the money we send home is quite a lot of money. And in fact, Nigeria sends millions, I should say billions, to the governments, not to the government, but to their individual people back home. That is really helping them financially. Now, if you are to come down and say, hang on a minute, the 10 billion we send almost each year, we're going to put a stop to it, unless ABCD. That voice is going to be heard. Can that happen if it begins with you? Because I've already seen calling APC and PDP here, and there is all this or that. I've seen that.
Give a Southeastern presidency will help to get this into play and get it into rolling. You know why? Because the Igbos, the Igbos happen to be the only tribe that are more Nigerian than every other Nigerian. You know why?
When they want to break away.
No, hold on. No. You wouldn't blame them. It's an agitation. Listen, you are treating me wrong. Why can't you treat me right? If you're not going to treat me right, let me go. You understand me? I don't think it's a crime for one to ask about that. That is why in marriage, if you're no more comfortable, you walk away. The wife said, or the man said, listen, I don't want this union anymore. I said, okay then. Let's part ways. Even the children will help you to part ways instead of you killing yourself. Now, the question is, the Igbos are the only tribe in the whole of the nation that can go to Borno and build a house, build a school, and start his home and can even die there. Tell me any other tribe that does that. How many? I know he is from the Yoruba ethnic group, his parents or something. But the truth is that you're not going to find an Hausa man in Imo State in Anambra building a skyscraper. But an Igbo man will go to Borno State, build a skyscraper, go to Lagos, build a skyscraper, go to Abuja, and do the same thing.
But I've been talking to one of the men, and he was telling me that actually the southern people, the Igbos and all that, they welcome you there easily. But you are not easily welcoming other people to come and join you. Somebody from that northern state, not Kano, where they...
Well, there are too many of them. Zampara.
Zampara regions, the Boko Haram area. We're saying, look, we welcome you. You even built your churches here. But when we come down there, in Ebola, we find difficulties here and there. And you're saying something different.
Well, let me say something, because he says, I don't want to bring any sort of intertribal. So and so. Okay, well said. But I'll just remind you that there are actually, even before pre-Nigerian times, when Nigeria was put together artificially, as an artificial construct like most of Africa, you have clusters of people who are interrelated. So I don't think it helps necessarily to say one particular tribe or ethnic group. Some people don't like that word. Tribe.
I use the word Southeast.
You know,
give them the president.
You can't just distill it to just that, because there are many people who, through intermarriage, but not just through recent intermarriage, through certain linkages. I mean, Onitsha is actually a combination of Igbo and Benin in many ways. So there are many of these issues, and there are other people in Nigeria who are very, very mobile. There is intermarriage between Fulanis and others. The Fulani shouldn't just be characterized as a military despot or a troublesome herdsman. There's a lot of nuance here. And when we talk about transgenerational capital, we've got to be very careful about the way we express ourselves. We may feel that we are speaking the truth's truth, but the truth of the matter, if you look at things historically, in a negative sense, why maybe certain people in Nigeria have held power, is because historically they built empires, and they have that the structures where they've dealt in a diplomatic way. When I say diplomatic, diplomacy is not just about niceness; it's about strategic thinking. Whereas in the Southeast, in Igbo, you had a more decentralized method of evolution, in which you did not have the creation of states like Benin, Oyo, and the Hausa city-states. And this has an impact in the way collectively they act. So I think we need to be very careful about the way we approach these things, just to ensure that we can have some unanimity of how we go forward. Because look, the Fulanis are the majority in Guinea. They originated from that part. They've never been allowed to rule Guinea, and they've been susceptible to waves of persecutions, including on the Sekou Touré. Whereas in Nigeria, it's been a different situation. So I think we need to look at our cultures from the individual ethnic groups. Not everybody is the same in the Southeast.
Can I say
you have Ogoja, you have Calabar and others. Did I remind you? And River State people. And that had implications for Biafra, let's be frank. So but yes, I would certainly agree with the issue of reformation, decentralization.
I need his contribution. I need his contribution on I know you are so analytical. You go deep into the history.
That's why he's a lecturer.
Yeah, I know. But we should be more into the present, and I'm looking at the present.
Because it informs the present.
I was only answering the present.
Because you see,
that's why I said okay.
Because you see, why I'm saying the diaspora, because I've seen Zimbabweans are trying to do it, and I can think Nigerians with their manpower, with their educational structure, with the highly educated people and so on. When it's a demonstration, you go to the Trafalgar Square there, and you will see 16 doctors, 17, then you read about what's happening in United Arab Emirates, and most of the top doctors
can you
are
actually
Nigerians. So I'm thinking you've got this diaspora in massive numbers, and why can't that unity?
I understand where you're coming from, Steve. But I want you to explain to us for the audience how the Zimbabweans are going about it. Because don't forget, we started it. I said that I started the discussion in terms of raising money. That's why I brought up Omerua to Saludo. Well, how do you fill that gap? Whether it's caused by SAP, structural adjustment in the 80s, or inefficiency, corruption in today's world. And then you can bypass that. And then, through raising, through these unions that you have. Now, my point was that if you can raise enough money, that can be done, and he mentioned Imo Airport. Now, but you raised an important issue there. You said that governments become suspicious. So I just want you for our benefit and everybody's benefit, tell us how the Zimbabweans are going about it. I'm very interested in that.
The media, for example, the media powerhouses, and especially WhatsApp. Now, you get as many groups as you can of doctors, engineers, and lawyers. These are people from, you have one Zimbabwean doctor might know 16 Zimbabwean doctors. One Zimbabwean engineer could know 10 Zimbabwean engineers. because of the profession they're in. So they went into all the top professions, not just here in the UK, but around the world. Then they started gathering themselves. Now they opened a union, a kind of an organization that doesn't care whether you come from Matabeleland or you came from which area of Zimbabwe, as long as you're Zimbabwean. Because first and foremost, Rhodes, his name is Rhodes, the former, he was once a long time ago, who had bought most of Zimbabwe, historically. His name
Cecil Rhodes.
Cecil Rhodes. Rhodes had left a scholarship in Zimbabwe, but that scholarship abroad here at Cambridge and Oxford was mainly meant to be for white Zimbabweans. But now it's open up to all Zimbabweans. They can come and study using the Cecil Rhodes' old scholarship, because they left a lot of money in the bank and all that. But they were not tapping into this because they didn't know. Now, when somebody came up with the idea and said, look, we need to have all of them and list out, have an organization that unites us. It doesn't care which part of Zimbabwe you come from. Then we can even sit down at once and say, okay, the Americans are going to sit. Now there is Zoom. People can sit on Zoom on their phones and have a look and hold a meeting of about 300 people and so on. So the structure now is built from America to here to other parts of the world. And then that's why it would be easier for them to tell the current president, Mulindwa, that listen, we have this voice now. If you don't listen to what we are bringing in, because Zimbabwe is now coming up with the issue of election, where Zimbabweans abroad will be allowed to vote as well. And their voice will be heard. And they will also have a representative in the government, in parliament, who is necessarily looking at issues of Zimbabweans abroad. Now, that structure has come about because of the people involved loving their countries and getting deeply involved in what is happening at home. The only thing maybe is the difference is because there are white Zimbabweans involved in there as well. And maybe that's where, because the white Zimbabweans are pushing more. Because they are saying, look,
but what I want to know from you is, have they influenced Zimbabwe so far?
They will have.
Have they collected money, built airports and infrastructure?
No, they haven't started.
Not yet.
No, this is an organization that's just beginning. It's just beginning,
But you would envisage that it would evolve to that.
The reason that I'm mentioning it, because I can see if Nigeria does that with the number, there are not many, but Nigerians, you're talking about 10 to 20 million abroad. So you have much more bigger power. But the problem is you are so divided.
Both for Nigerians, and that's something we need to discuss about evolving, both for Nigerians and Zimbabweans, as long as it doesn't stop at being a talking shop, then, then there's no need. But if we're talking about, okay, grouping together, and interestingly,
because
not necessarily among the union, the ethnic unions we have, but according to professionals, as you say, if we can do that, so we make sure it's not ethnic based, I think that's a very good
The thing is, because you pay an annual fee, and maybe this is where, because that annual fee is partly to organize.
Let's look at the ultimate gain. Let's look at the ultimate gain. If the ultimate gain is raising money to develop our countries, and then we can envisage a particular pathway, where the government is not going to block us because they're worried about money coming from the central bank. That's what you haven't completed the point. You see, that's what I'm aiming for. I thought you were going on to say they had actually.
But the thing is, the influence will be there during the elections, because once the movement has started, and it has even its headquarters in Zimbabwe itself, where they deal with, for example, issues like passports and so on, then it's really going to be a big one, where they can go in and say, hey, our passports, if you have a problem with it being a dual nationalities, this is where you go. So you get the point. Once they've reached that level, they might influence next.
It can germinate to something.
Thank you. For me, this is a very important discussion, and personally, should go deep. I mean, the issue of IPOP is a clear example of what you're talking about. IPOP started here, in London. Now it's all over the world, and Nigerian government is not getting it easy. Do you understand what I'm talking about?
I do.
Now, if our professionals, irrespective of your ethnicity, come together to say, listen, we want to change things in Nigeria. He did say something fundamental when it comes to change. if the people of Britain does not like a particular thing Boris Johnson is doing,
Yeah.
he'll be out of that place tomorrow.
Of course.
Why?
Yeah.
Not through the parliament, but the people will take to the street. Do our people have the guts, the diaspora have the guts to mobilize people on this down there to go to street? We have seen a lot of organizations, starting from our pocket community. They started wonderful ideas. After a while, they fizzle out.
Yeah.
People get discouraged. People embezzle money. People fight among each other. People now remember that he's Yoruba, Igbo, and all whatnot. Those are the problems that we have. In fact, what the African politicians specialize on is to bring somebody into their midst and to make sure that, do you understand?
Yeah.
So I believe that instead of talking about the money, the politicians are there, they already have the money.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
There's no amount of money that you're bringing in there that would destabilize them. No amount of money, I can tell you that. As long as they're comfortable.
It's the
as
voice.
long as, no.
The voice you bring
the
in
voice,
destabilize
okay,
them. Yeah.
In the case of Nigeria, we diasporas cannot vote. For now, we can vote here. All right? So our voice, as long as that area is concerned, cannot be heard.
Okay.
Now, there's something else I want to touch on regarding the agitation of Mazen Nnamdi Kanu. I want to believe that that young man is speaking the mind of all Nigerians, all women in Nigeria. Our lecturer did say that he supports restructuring, even secession, if need be. What this young man is asking for is justice to all, fairness to all, and equity to all. What's difficult in that? The same thing you're asking for. You're from Zimbabwe, right?
No, I'm from Uganda.
Uganda. The same thing you're asking for in Uganda, I want to believe.
Yeah.
The same thing the Zimbabwean person is asking for.
Yeah.
What's wrong with that? Now, if the way we are going has not worked, or where we are now, where we're coming from, till this moment it has not worked, why can't we change something? At least try something else.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Of course.
And that's exactly what he's talking about. Let us try something else. If that fails us, then we try another one.
Okay, we're coming towards the end of the program, and there is a lot we've discussed. Of course, Anambra. Anambra has been my because uniqueness in the sense that when the elections were held and there weren't any problems. So, which means the Anambrans are very good people. You know what you want, and as far as politics is concerned, violence wasn't going to be something that would damage your reputation. Now, with the new incoming man, the problems that were there and the new problems that are coming up, I could see from the debate that obviously he has a lot of work on his hand, despite the fact that he has been into administration for quite a long time. Diasporians like you, the chairman, and other people in the organization, what are the key things you are going to send to him and say, listen, yes, we know we have the manifesto, but this thing has to come first? Because even he was asking himself, said, look, I'm coming into government, but I don't know where to start from, because everything seems to be, everything seems to be in a disarray. Now, I don't know where to start from. If a politician says something like that, then you know, okay, I'll leave it to you.
Okay. In the national in Abuja, whoever that is replacing or going to replace Buhari or succeed Buhari could ask that question, not in Anambra.
Yeah.
Now, let me give you a reason why. I'm not trying to sectionalize or tribalize or ethnicize it or whatever. But the truth is that there is already a structure in place set up by the Abga government. You understand me? Subsequent Abga government. Like I said, what you said the Zimbabweans were doing, we've already done it. Why I say that? Because we set up a global summit. Remember that. We use that to bring in leaders together. Bring in the SAS, the government appointees in Anambra to come and see. Imafidon, his family happened to be the smartest family, was there. He made a presentation for us to bring
the Tottenham MP.
Lemmy was there.
Lammy
was there as well.
Yeah. So you understand me? And we brought in some startup companies and some of these new technology companies, all of them there. And why did we do that? Because we believe in continuity, and what Obiano is doing well. With the vision of the national chairman, Obiano embraced that vision as well, together with the one he made with the Abga manifesto, and the new national chairman brought in more vision that he had for the party, and then the governor embraced it as well. That is development. Because
the quick question was where does it start from?
Because now he has a social contract already in his hand that he knows that he needs to accomplish within the first 4 years.
Okay.
Look at what he said. How is he going to raise the money? He said he was going to make the first year 1,000 millionaires in his state. He meant it, and he's going to do it.
That's interesting.
Am I right? Yeah. Yes, he said he's going to make 1,000 millionaires in this thing. Yeah. So what I'm saying in effect is that if the federal government, if Nigeria is going to be better for it, let Buhari release Nnamdi Kanu.
Yeah.
Tap from his intelligence. Go into roundtable meeting with him. Discuss with him. He's an agitator. He's agitating for something. Tap from his worries and see how you can change things in the nation. I believe that what Obiano had put in place, when Soludo goes in, he wouldn't struggle. He has an international airport already. Do you understand me? He has stadium, he has event centers, it's one of the best in the nation. So every structure is in place. So what he needs to do is to maintain what he sees and then try to build more. But in human capacity, building more is what I would prefer, because you need to make sure that people are happy.
Okay. The Nnamdi Kanu story is good. It's a long story, and but it probably won't happen because of the oppositions from the various people who are within the government surrounding Buhari. Even if Buhari wants, I think he has that.
That's a privileged few. Yeah. That's the minority.
Yeah.
People like people, the ministers and all the rest of them, because they have power. They are like hustlers.
Of course,
these guys are hustlers.
They have the
power. Do you understand me? And political parasites.
One last.
Yeah. Two very, very quick points. I think you already mentioned about Nnamdi Kanu. The way he goes about things, the way he went about things, this sort of abuse style. He's not done it like, say, a Castro would do it. Either you go into the trenches and fight for a revolution, and also create some sort of template ideological foundation, not based on the abuse politics.
Okay.
So enough of Nnamdi Kanu. But then the second, the other issue about transformation, I don't think it's, the creation of millionaires is not an indication of the health of a society. It's not meant as a criticism of you, but I'm just saying that in America, for instance, in this pandemic, we've had a great transfer of wealth, creation of more billionaires, but at the expense of a contracting middle class. So we've got to be very careful about what the wealth is. And I say of the society is that it should be aimed for in Anambra and every other part of Nigeria by a state governor and the country as a whole. And that namely is nothing short of preparing a plan for developing an industrial base, a minimum industrial base, and a plan that you will also use to educate people, not just to literacy levels, but also to vocational, technical, professional level. That is what we want to see from the leaders. We want to demand it from them, and to hell with tribalism.
If I had my way, I would ask Buhari to employ you straight away and make sure that somewhere around as a political advisor you have something.
Please let me correct an impression for 1 second. Just 1 second. He said something that I wouldn't let it go like that. Please, I said 1,000 millionaires. Hold on. No, I said 1,000 millionaires. But what he didn't ask me, how will Soludo make this 1,000 millionaires? This will come from agriculture. This will come from small, medium and small industries. This will come from technology. This will come from IT. These are men he we'll be able. You understand me?
Can I have one? Your last one?
Well, yes.
We are going around and
that's fine.
You didn't ask me why.
If you have listened to Soludo, Soludo did say that he will continue from an already existing structure of the outgoing governor.
Yes.
What he has done. Areas that he left behind, that he's going to continue there. So Anambra is moving well. That's why APGA won convincingly. They're doing well. So he's not going to have that challenge so much that he can do. However, when he said that he's going to make more millionaires, he said he is building more industrial clusters. Where power wouldn't be much of a problem. Don't forget the problem of power we have in the country. He is saying that he's going to tackle that. Of course, the more industries you have, the more employment you have, and the more millionaires you make, the more taxes you receive. That is exactly what the man is talking about. So I want to believe that despite the agitations, IPOP and all whatnot, right? As my chairman have rightly said, releasing Nnamdi Kanu, it will help the economy of the East. It will help also Nigeria to kind of move forward. That's the truth. Secondly, lecturer did say that the way Nnamdi Kanu is doing it, he's so abusive and all whatnot. I know him. I know that young man. That's not in his nature. However, if I want to get you to start talking, maybe I have to do some funny things to get you talking.
Exactly.
So that's exactly what the young man did. Many people might not embrace that, but unfortunately, he got people talking.
The key thing anyway, which I needed and which Salodo said was a fact centered on money, because money was a major problem. If the state is bankrupt and he's taking over a state which is bankrupt with no money, and he has to start thinking of what he has to bring first in terms of project. This is what he meant.
Exactly. Anambra State is getting it right, as I said earlier. They build a new airport, which will start generating money. All right? And other infrastructures, on-road infrastructures, due to the erosion and all whatnot, the thing is damaging the already existing infrastructure. But he's going to build more.
All right. I just want to thank all of you for coming here to discuss Anambra and the politics in Nigeria. I just wish politicians would listen to the voices, especially your voices, because you all have, as other Nigerians, have the interest of the country at heart. But it is a problem that they are not listening. It's not just you, but others in Africa as well. And I do hope that at some point in future, they probably will, and our voices will be heard, we in the diaspora. Thank you very much for coming to Africa Speaks of today, and your contribution is has been really wonderful. And I'm privileged to have listened to all the conversation. I do hope that we'll be together again at some point in future to extend this discussion. I just want to thank you all for listening, for being with us on today's program. And I do hope that we'll be together again for another edition of Africa Speaks. Thank you.
At WorldRemit, we understand what the journey is about, how it can sometimes take a little distance to bring us a little closer together. With ways to save more when you send more, WorldRemit is here for you, so you can be there for them.